Oh, I haven't started the call yet. Shit. There we go. Thanks.
All right, perfect timing.
A little Halloweeny.
Let's shit this one out.
No.
Please hold.
Andy, are you on mute?
No.
No, just not saying things. Okay.
So yeah, I finished. Did you finish Agatha All Along, Brian?
Yes.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I fucked up because I was told it's only 8 episodes, but it's 9.
Liars.
Yeah, well, I think the people who said it's 8 episodes.
Well, 8 weeks maybe.
Yeah, I think that's what they were thinking. Like episodes 1 and 2, they might have been counting that as one episode. Because yeah, like I said,
Well, but 8 and 9 were at the same time.
They were also released on the same day? Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah. Weird. Well, anyway, yeah, so like I finished the 8th episode, and I was like, oh man, they really fucked up the ending for this show. That sucks. And then the next episode started to come up, and I was like, oh, okay. And then sure enough, they did one of the best endings that I've seen, and yeah, it was really good.
What shows, in your estimation, have had the best ending?
Andor.
Andor was really good. And that's the only part 1, so there's a bigger ending coming.
I
I guess the real ending of Andor is Rogue One, which is a phenomenal ending. If you're gonna...
Yeah. The Good Place.
Yes.
Parks and
The
Rec.
last episode is way too corny.
I haven't seen Parks and Rec. What about, have you seen MASH?
Yes, that was fucking fantastic last episode.
Never saw the last episode, but I have seen episodes here and there of MASH. It's one my mom and I, like, whenever we're in the same room, we're pretty much watching MASH.
Yeah, I feel like the ending of MASH is genius because it's a great summation of the whole show, and it does like MASH through the whole run does a great job of balancing humor with the tragedy and violence of war, right? To juxtapose the two, and the finale is just like that, cranked up to 11. Like it's the best MASH episode of the entire run, and they did it last.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers. That was a great ending. Yeah.
Cheers, I never made it all the way through. I feel like Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of the great endings too.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah,
What?
that's a good point.
It's a fucking good one.
It was okay. The
Okay,
second, so
I feel like in my mind the quality of the ending of Avatar is carried by Zuko's fight with his sister, because that's a fucking phenomenally choreographed, drawn, like whatever the word is for the music soundtrack. Just a phenomenal fight. Yes, scored. Thank you. A phenomenal fight scene. One of the best fight scenes in all of animation. And it just carries that finale. Like the rest of the finale could have been mediocre, and I still would have ranked it highly.
You know what finale I loved? I loved the one everybody hates. I love the Dexter ending, which is now not the end anymore, but still.
Never got there either.
yeah, I didn't either. I saw this. Is the 3rd season the one with John Lithgow?
No, 4.
That's 4. Yeah, I saw through 4, and then I started 5 with Colin Hanks. I was like,
No, that was 6.
Oh, then maybe I watched 5 also.
5 is the one with Julia Stiles.
Which is the one with Strahovski?
7 and 8.
Oh, okay, I didn't watch 8. I watched 4 and 7, I guess.
Well, yeah, I watched up to a point then, and I was just like, I just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad had a good ending and a good movie.
I hate that show so much.
Built on the ending. I really liked
Thank
that.
you, Brian.
And Better Call Saul. That had a really good ending.
Brian, I usually think your hot takes are mediocre at best. But I tried watching Breaking Bad, and I just did not get. I don't know. I didn't get it. I don't know.
I watched the whole thing and I hated all of it. And I'm not going to get into. I could rant about it for like hours.
Also, you're a masochist. Like you're like, I watched the whole
Yeah.
thing and I hate it. Why did you watch the whole thing if you hated it?
Look, everybody's well, it gets better. No, it doesn't. It does
The
not get any
Wire.
better.
Wire has a beautiful ending. The Deuce.
So The Wire. Tell me more. Is The Wire procedural or procedural adjacent or?
No, so The Wire is more holistic. So it's one case per season,
Okay.
and it's about like the first season is the most procedural of them because it's about cops going after like drug dealers, and the tension is that the city just wants them to make a couple busts and then shut down the investigation because it's too much money and all that kind of stuff. But they, of course, like they actually want to be police instead of just doing stuff. So whatever. And so in the end, their case gets botched by the city because they arrest a whole bunch of little like corner kids, and then the main guys get away. And it's like, well, and then season 2 goes on to. It's like, all right, well, City of Baltimore. How do drugs even get here in the first place? It's not like they're growing poppies and refining heroin. So most of season 2 takes place on the docks of the city, and it's about smuggling and it's about the death of the middle class work life, and it's amazing. And then it just goes into weird directions too. Like, season 3 is really interesting. It's about what would happen if we actually legalized drugs. And then season 4 is about where do these corner kids come from? And so it shows a lot about the school system and how the inner city school system is set up to fail. And then season 5 is about journalism of all things. But yeah, no, I love it. I love The Wire, and the ending is really great. Actually, I would go as far to say as all of the David Simon stuff that I have seen, I've really liked the ending. I didn't finish Treme though. I should actually watch Treme.
I mean, Wire's
I
on
don't know
my
The Wire had that many seasons.
Wire's on my
Yeah.
short list because I know you always talk highly of it, and I've heard other people talk highly of it. But like, it's one that I also think my wife would be into. So it's like on that list of things that now it's a shorter list, but it goes much slower.
Yeah.
So it's like
I get annoyed when people say, "Oh, give it until season 3, it gets good then." It's like, no. Seasons 1 and 2 are really good. I love them very, very much. Oh, Deadwood. That's well, Deadwood doesn't have such a great ending because they didn't know they weren't getting a 4th season. But the ending,
the movie is the ending.
yeah.
What
The
about
movie.
is Farscape up there? Not the movie, the actual series ending when they're on a boat.
Yes. That was great.
I think it's fantastic.
That was a fucking great fucking ending to that season.
I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it, but I feel like it's the best way. If you find out last minute that you are not getting renewed, it's the best way to end a series.
Now, I liked Farscape a lot at the time that I was watching it, but now, years later, I barely remember anything about it.
Oh, well, I've rewatched the whole thing 3 times, and right now I'm looking at a signed picture from Gigi Edgley. She's holding Rigel's head. Or she's not really holding it, but it's sitting in front of her.
It's entertaining, but it doesn't stick in my memory the way that like Firefly does, except for the like metaphysical parts about like wormholes and existence and your role in the universe, and I don't know. But that's just me. Like I tend to clomb onto the philosophy bullshit more than the character stuff.
I need a bit of, well, I don't need philosophy necessarily. I just need something more than, hey, we're gonna run around and bang bang shoot. That's all I really need. Like, you give me even a little bit more than that, and I'm happy. So yeah. Anyway, you know what also has a really good ending?
Tell me.
This episode of Survivor.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
did.
will read the thing today, but
Ooh.
first, welcome to Out Without Play Outcast, the Survivor podcast on the Night of Living Geeks Network, which still exists. John posts Podcastica pretty frequently, although I think they are on a hiatus at the moment. Anyway, we're going to be talking about season 47, episode 7. Our pickle is on blast. Yet another episode in which the speaker of the title is the one to go home. All right. Now, if my voice sounds a little bit different, that's because I had to move my tablet so that I could read it. So I'm not speaking directly into the microphone anymore. So I'll just talk a little louder. Anyway, we come into camp after tribal council and see what happens at Becca tribe.
Mhm.
Saul makes the mistake of trying to explain to Andy why he voted for him, but Andy takes everything so personally. Saul throws Sam under the bus, and now we have angry, anxious Andy again, gunning for Gata. Genevieve reaches out to Andy, and we get some small talk around camp, but then we're straight into immunity. 6 players win immunity and reward, but won't vote at tribal. 1 player of the remainder wins individual immunity, and everyone else is vulnerable. Kyle drops the ball last and wins individual immunity. I should have said for his team, because they lost. Anyway. Resulting in Gabe, Sue, Caroline, Rachel, and Tiana going to council and rib time for the rest. There's an advantage of some sort at the rib party, but everyone is too meated to find it. The upshot of all this is that rib winners agree if Caroline is voted out, then they should unite against Taku, and I meant to say Rachel, but they are both kind of the same person in my mind. Apologies. On the loser beach, Rachel is the initial target, but what everyone's theory presupposes is, what if it wasn't? Can they send Gabe off into the friscolating dusklight? Tiana fills Rachel in, but Caroline declines, and things are looking bleak for Rachel until... Back at Meat Party, Saul finds the advantage, which turns out to be a life preserver to anyone he wants. He plays it for Rachel, a move so strong that it's immediately obvious he will do it, despite the confessional to saying maybe there's something to think about here. When it happens, Saul plays dumb, maybe even a little too dumb. In the end, it comes down to Tiana or Gabe. Tiana is voted out unanimously when Caroline breaks the trust and sides with Gabe. And it was a really good ouster because she felt real bad and real betrayed.
And she walked right into it and she was like, I just want to make the merge so bad. Oh no, you're screwing yourself.
Jury.
Jury, yeah.
I don't blame her. Look, monetarily, there's a big difference between the last person to miss the jury and the first person on the jury.
Yeah, no,
I don't remember
100%.
how big it is, but yeah.
I'm just saying, in the moment she was so caught up in her emotion, which I get, that she just was sitting there staying in her moment while everybody else talked and game planned without her. It's one of those things that's like, the second it becomes a live tribal, like, don't, just get up and go talk to people. I still think it would have been her, but like, who knows? Maybe that first few moments, your name gets tossed out, and then all of a sudden it's a hump you have to overcome instead of a conversation you were in.
Yeah, I feel like she made her case to Caroline and Kyle, and then was just like, you know what? Either it happens or it doesn't. I'm done. I give up.
Yeah.
So the scramble tells me they were totally getting rid of Rachel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
100%.
Yeah.
I like the oh shit faces when she nopes out of there, just walking away.
Yeah. Like, getting rid of her would have been, I don't know, I actually do kind of think it would have been a bad idea. Granted, we have all the information and they don't. So they didn't realize, like, yeah, they're team up against us, but I just
They
don't...
do realize that. Two of them said that was going to happen if they voted her out.
Yeah.
They apparently were going to just do it anyway.
Yeah, that's hubris. That's sheer fucking hubris. But, well, they didn't go for it. I mean, they were sort of forced into it, but yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it would be better if I mean, they couldn't have, but if that didn't happen, I think it would have been the right thing to get rid of Rachel because, I mean, it would be 6 and 5 at that point. They only got to pull one person over. It wouldn't be that big of a deal.
That's true. And your one Sue is on your side. So worst case scenario, you could go in and then just try and figure out, like, play the game, figure out who they're going to vote out, and then use the idol to save them. It would not be easy. I'm not going to like pretend it would, but that's essentially what you would do.
Sure.
Yeah. But they did not. And now Tiana is gone. Tiana is Guyana. Oh.
So for her exit, they composed brand new, like, vote out music with lyrics that are in Hawaiian. And I didn't get a chance to find a translation yet of what the lyrics are. But I love that they just... I think they were so happy to have a Hawaiian player earlier. And now, too, like, they can actually do tribal-sounding lyrics that are legitimate for the player leaving, and not just, like, some random Fijian possibly thing, like oohs and ahs, but, like, actual Hawaiian music and have a reason for it. But, like, also earlier in the season, like, I heard some chi-hoos and stuff. Like, very directly Hawaiian-inspired stuff going on. I think production was very happy to have Tiana on this season.
Why have they never, now I think about it, why have they never done a Survivor Hawaii?
Probably because it's a lot more expensive to produce it in America.
Oh, whatever.
Well, it's a lot more full of people, too.
There are islands you could use.
Maybe, but it's a lot easier.
They'd have to prevent other people from going there.
Yeah, that's the trick.
It'd be expensive.
That's the trick, is stopping some drunk guy from one of the islands on vacation from floating over there and checking shit out.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the way they get so excited about boats, I mean, there was another incident of it in this episode where it was Loser Beach, I believe. No, it was Rib Party Beach. They were all eating, they're like, oh, look, boats! And then it cut away. We couldn't see what it was. I thought it was going to be them going back to camp, but then we cut back to them, and they are napping. And Andy is trying to find an idol, and then, gets called out onto the carpet, and he just kind of slinks back to his little place.
I have a feeling Andy's going to be in the final 3. And there's going to be a point where you're going to question whether or not he's a scapegoat. Because my thing is, we get a lot of these scenes like this one, right? Where Andy's doing something that's not a bad idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, looking around for, and I've been thinking this the last few seasons, like when they go on these reward things, it feels like people aren't looking anymore. Or maybe we just don't get shown. But I remember every single fucking reward, there used to be some kind of advantage hidden somewhere. And it was the thing, they go on reward, the first thing you do is look for it, right? And I feel like they haven't done it in so long, players stopped looking. But, like, Andy's the one who's going and doing it this time. And it's a good idea.
Saul.
Yeah, Saul did second. That's my thing, right? It's not a bad impulse. Andy looked and he just didn't find it. But other players called him out and called him sloppy for it. And Saul does it, like, minutes later, it looks like in the edit, possibly longer, probably longer. And Saul finds it, and Saul gets a positive cut, whereas Andy gets, like, we're constantly given this compare and contrast between Andy's sloppy play and somebody else's good play, and have it be not really that different. Like, very slight difference, right?
The big difference
is he's loudly fucking moving shit around and making it really obvious what he's doing.
Right.
Yeah. He got caught, Saul didn't, therefore Saul's worked and did it right.
Right, but, like, everybody's gameplay at this reward, are you going to put Andy last, or are you going to put, like, Sam last, who just went and ate his ribs and had a chats? Right? Like, I don't know necessarily where I rank the play. Like, Andy did something sloppy, but at this point in the game, everybody's just rolling their eyes at it and saying, well, that's Andy. Like, at this point, Andy can get away with it. Right? He can get away with it at total face value, and it was like, oh, fucking Andy again, right? There's no liability to Andy's game right now.
Yeah. Were you at all surprised that this rib challenge was not sponsored by Applebee's?
I was shocked. As soon as he said baby back ribs, I was like, oh, fuck. There's that Chili's? I don't know whose it is.
Yep. Yeah, Chili's, I want my baby back, Chili's, baby back ribs, barbecue sauce. Yeah. But still, I mean, like, Applebee's has. That's why they're the neighborhood grill. They have all that stuff. So that's why I was really surprised that this was just generic ribs.
Yeah. I was also very surprised. I was expecting Applebee's too.
Yeah. Well, we might get the Applebee's treatment in a future episode when it's a little bit more special. I forget. I know we've mentioned this before, but I always forget it. The name of the tribe this time is Becca.
Mm-hmm.
Production names the merged tribes now, or players still name it?
I think players still name it.
They choose some boring ass names.
Do they? I feel like they stopped letting them name it when they named it Murica.
Murica.
I think there's some more stipulations to it now.
I like the season where Eric. That was the season with Parvati and Amanda. But Eric, the ice cream scooper from Hell, Michigan, named it Dabo Dabo, and he just claimed it was some word in the local language, but really it was from World of Warcraft. Dabo.
I was hoping you were going to say Star Trek.
WoW, but I knew it was WoW, and he very definitely has a WoW vibe to him. So yeah.
I was hoping you were going to say Star Trek. A little DS9 ref in there.
No, well,
and they
you
could
wouldn't
do it. It's Paramount Plus.
It would be just Dabo, not Dabo Dabo.
Yeah. You're a sleepy boy today?
I am. We started late, and you're pretty lucky you started when you did, because...
And it's the time change, too. It feels an hour later in you.
Time change is honestly my favorite time of the year. I love the time change, because I got to spend an extra hour in my bed, and I love being in my bed.
So,
but I am a sleepy boy.
Were you guys all surprised about Caroline siding with Sue and Gabe? Because I feel like we get the scene where Tiana goes to Caroline, and Tiana's like, "Do you think maybe in this situation you could talk about thinking about Gabe?" And Caroline's like, "No, if you're gonna talk about this, let's talk about this. Like, don't be coy, don't be shy. Like, let's fucking talk it out, right?" And to have that level of open relationship, to just talk through those kinds of things that plainly in Survivor is pretty rare. And so I feel like Caroline being willing to cut Tiana is kind of ballsy here to lose that kind of a close relationship.
I just feel like she saw the writing on the wall and decided, all right, I'm not gonna, it'll look bad for my final resume if I am not on this side of the, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm on the wrong side of this vote, so I'll just be on the right side, and then I'll get my revenge or something along those lines.
I don't think that was the writing on the wall. That was, like, specifically her getting rid of Tiana. Like, the second when they were scrambling at the tribal, she immediately went and told Gabe, "Tiana's putting your name out."
No, that was Sue.
What? No, it wasn't.
It was.
I watched it today. Okay.
So did I.
Definitely.
I watched it today as well, and I was looking to see who it was, and I'm like 90% sure it was Sue.
I'm 100% sure that it wasn't.
All right. Well, regardless, someone told Gabe.
Because Kyle also happily voted for Tiana, but I think if Caroline had told Kyle, like, yes, let's do Gabe, I think Kyle would have done Gabe.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think that's why she's like, when, as you were saying, Andy, when Tiana just kind of made her case and then sat back down and just put her head in her hands for a while. I think that's when Caroline decided, yeah, I'm just going to be on the right side of this one.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm starting to get annoyed at Sue, because Sue is 100% Gabe's tool, and Gabe is just throwing her around, right? Because what it comes down to is Caroline was going back and forth between Kyle and Gabe was like, "Sue is in my fucking pocket. Like, she will do whatever the fuck we say, and then we're solid, right?" And that is like, that is 100% true, right? Like, Sue is 100% in Gabe's pocket at this point. They are going to vote together. I think he said something like, "She'll do whatever I say." Right? And that's true, but like, there's no guarantee that Gabe is going to do what you want to do, Caroline. And I think Kyle's argument is muddier but more honest, right? Kale's was like, look, Tiana is, she comes back to us and her story always checks out. Like there's not any lack of clarity on what Tiana says, right? She's not lying to us. But she's not always going to do what you want. And that's the trickier thing, right? Like Sue's always going to do what Gabe wants, but what Gabe wants probably is not going to be what you want in the long run.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's a shitty choice for Caroline.
Here's the thing, like, you got to keep in mind, Kyle has said, "Oh, I just want everyone to think I'm a real nice guy," and so I don't think he has the not mental fortitude. What's the word I'm looking for here? I don't think he's cutthroat enough to win this game unless he wins every single challenge, which that could happen. And frankly, if it does, congratulations, Kyle. You will probably win. You might not win because they would say, well, you never really had to play the game or something like that. But yeah. It would be yours to lose in that case. But I just don't think... I think wanting to be liked is going to be his downfall in this. Like, he did not... He was always... Friggin', come on, Nick. Use your words. He has been allied or at least loosely affiliated with Gabe much longer than he has with Tiana, and I think he just decided, all right, well, I'm going to go with the one that brought me here, and stuck with him.
Yeah, that's going to be Kyle's trick, is trying to differentiate himself strategically in any kind of way.
Yeah. Oh, boy. I want him to win. I like when just the guy whose strategy is, I'm going to be really, really nice. I like it when they win, but yeah, he's got to give someone the old kidney shifter.
And I mean, being really, really nice is one of my favorite winners of all time, Marianne. Part of the reason she got there was being really fucking nice. And then at the last minute, she's like, also, balls out awesome move at the last minute, right?
Yeah, she also did stuff. Like,
yeah. She did stuff off and on, but her
she wasn't just nice. Like, she had ideas and stuff.
I know, but her master stroke really came at like 6 players left, right? When she got to final, and she was like, look, I would have gotten here, like, no matter what happened. Any outcome of the last 3 votes, I would have been here. And I set that up. And none of you knew it.
Cannot forget that she is Canadian. Also Canadian. Genevieve.
Yep. And Erica. Erica, another New Era winner.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yes, of the past, but we weren't talking about her. But that is the point that I'm making, where I'm like, Genevieve is playing pretty darn well. She was able to pick up Andy. I mean, okay, so sorry. Anyone who talked to Andy would have been able to pick him up. I'm not saying like she was something special for that. But she had the foresight to say, all right, well, I lost my number 1. Here's another wounded puppy I can take and use as a shield, and maybe as a pocket vote, I can at least make him feel good so that when he's on the jury and I'm not, he will vote for me.
Yeah. I like Genevieve's strategy of like, are you a loser? Does nobody like you? Are you annoying? Come on, let's go.
Yeah. There was a similar point by Teeny that I thought was just, because she was talking about the Women's Alliance, and that's not the point. The point that I thought was a little, well, that doesn't make sense. She said, I want to make sure all the women are on the jury. Which, doesn't that mean you want the men in the final 3? Like, that's clearly not what she wants, because she wants to be in the final 3, of course. She wants to win $1 million. But, yeah, that doesn't make any sense, what she said there.
Yeah, I think it's a little misspeak.
Yeah.
She just wants all of the women to at least make the jury.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Maybe that's what it is.
That didn't happen, Teeny. Sorry.
No, did not. I was trying to write down one thing for each person, just an observation. And so I listed out all the names, and I was like, man, that is a lot of women's names.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was really, really surprised. It was like, what, 8 and 4, I believe?
I'm looking at the list. It sounds about right.
Yeah, I was gonna write one thing about each person, but I got as far as Genevieve and Andy, and I was just like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. Genevieve, really big smile, like that really big smile. Andy, really sick hair. I like his flow.
So apparently, Andy has the job title AI Research Assistant. He's spoken
Yeah.
German because his background is linguistics. So he's the linguistics part of AI. My guess is he's probably doing it just because you got to get paid and technology pays. Especially
Well, we saw him doing
if you have a degree in fucking linguistics.
some math in this episode, and then in the first episode when he was talking about combinations. So I believe he is still also a programmer of some sort, or you know what I mean. Like I think he's doing some of that, some more than just let's get the language working. I think he's doing a little bit more than that. But regardless, AI researcher Andy. Yeah, I agree with you. He's probably going to make the final three. Like he's been getting that sort of edit. So yeah, I just got a feeling about it.
I think if he
He,
does, he's no chance whatsoever.
He's got to do some amazing shit between now and then.
yeah.
I think it's just his final tribals would just be he would suck at it.
Well, I don't know
Can't imagine him talking his way through that.
Who at this point really has a negative opinion of Andy? It's primarily Sam and Sierra.
Everyone.
Well, I mean, Sam and Sierra are the worst because they're his quote unquote idols. Or not idols, allies. Right? They're his.
And they keep throwing him under the bus.
Yeah. And he's at the point now where he's fully realized, like, fuck them too, right?
Well, they didn't really throw him under the bus. Other people keep telling them that they are. They're not really doing it. They're just going, if we can we vote him out? And they're just like, yeah, I guess. But
Yeah,
it's not.
but
It hasn't been their idea though.
But they give zero pushback on the idea. It was the very first like not quite merged, but everybody together kind of feast or whatever. And Sam and Sierra there, and somebody was like, "Do you think we could use Andy as a backup name or whatever?" And like, yeah, sure, fine, whatever, fuck it. Like if he's your ally, they gave zero pushback, zero hesitation. And in confessionals, they were like, yeah, whatever, it's just Andy.
Yeah, that's the confessionals is where I like, yeah, no, they have no interest in him, because if they were in that situation, of course the answer is yeah, sure, why not? Because if you start pushing back, then you're not working with them and blah 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 blah, and the deal falls apart. But if that was the case, then you would say in your confessional, yeah, we're not going to do that, or you would tell Andy like, hey, they proposed your name. We of course said sure, why not, but we have no intention. You wouldn't just like completely overlook him. But that's what happens when there's only 3 Gata left.
Yeah, and you need to pick one sacrificial lamb. I guess it's gonna be Andy.
Yeah.
I love his. Go, Brian.
What? I was saying my favorite part was when he was talking to Saul by himself, and he was telling him like, we're gonna do this thing now, me and you have to do exactly what I want for the next 4 votes for this to work. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What you have no power. What do you think you're threatening him with?
I get annoyed by him because he was so defensive that Saul voted for him. It's like, yeah, of course I voted for you. I had to vote for someone, or else it would have been me if he played his idol and then his one vote was going to go on me. That, like, who else am I going to vote for? And like, if anything, you shouldn't be mad at me. You should be mad at the fact that you're at the bottom of the totem pole, and so I assumed that you were my best shot.
I don't know. I feel like so Saul's argument was like, okay, if they play an idol, then I'm just fucked. So I had to put somebody else's name so that we could be fucked together, and possibly I could fuck somebody else instead of me, right? And Andy's comeback was like, okay, but there were 13 people. Right?
Yeah, and you were on the bottom. Like, that's why I picked you, because...
Right, but no...
I was on the bottom, I being Saul in this case. I was on the bottom, you were the person one rung up. Okay, so you were my best chance at surviving if there was a revote.
I'm just saying, if there's a rogue chance that somebody pull an idol for Rome, right? If you were Saul, that's an opportunity to make a strike, right? Go for somebody who seems like they are a bigger threat and was unprotected, right? I also get where Andy's coming from. Like, of all the names out here, Like, I know I'm on the bottom, but pick the second, third from. Pick the person on the top, right? If the idol's going to be played for Rome, fucking take out Gabe, take out Sue, take out Kyle, take out If
Those
everybody
people
still
have
believes
too
if
many
everybody still
friends.
believes Sam and Sierra are still a power couple, take out one of them. Like, you could take that pot shot at literally anybody.
Well,
If
you
that's
can't,
your reason.
because they actually have alliances, and then their whole alliance would be pissed at you.
Yeah. Like, it's one of those instances where it's don't be mad at me, be mad at yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he has vowed revenge.
I do think,
Again.
as ridiculous as Andy has been for the season, he's at least having an interesting enough arc.
Yeah.
Like he's realizing mid-season his mistakes, you know, and that's positive.
If it wasn't for the big, huge hole that he dug himself into at the start of the season, in my opinion, I would be thinking, yeah, he's pretty good. I like watching him. But that first impression was just that bad. Yeah, it was an awful impression. Why don't you care that I made coconut?
I'm going to throw my ally under the bus. That was my plan.
Yeah, just telling everyone all of that straight up was just kind of like, oh man, like that was just such a brutal job. But if you factor that out, then yeah, he's pretty good.
He's doing okay. I mean, he's terrible in challenges, but who the fuck cares?
Good hair. Maybe. No, I think Sierra has the best hair.
Yeah, I mean, literally pageant winning hair. So
yeah,
Genevieve's alright with the hair too.
Genevieve has good hair, but I feel like Andy's hair is the silkiest.
I don't know. I maybe I haven't been paying that close attention to silkiness.
Next time, look, next episode 8, when they vote out Teeny, make sure, just pay attention to people's hair and tell me, like, his hair is luxurious in a way that I think that, like, Sierra's isn't. Sierra's hair is very good, very straight, very voluminous, but it doesn't, like, I bet you if she was at home, like, right now, it's very good. But it's not silky like his, so yeah.
I was gonna be a smartass and name a bald person, but there aren't any bald people this season.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, you know who had great hair? TK.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was TK.
I don't even remember what TK looks like. It's gone.
He's the one who often put his hair up in a bun.
He was the one who had paired his hair up in a bun. He had it in long braids or braids. He had it in long braids. Yeah, he had really good hair. That was something else. All right, well,
I feel like yeah, that's an indicator that we should move on to fantasy. Yeah,
probably. Unless, are there any points anybody would like to make before we move on to fantasy?
Brian.
No.
I like how Nick is always like, would either of you like to say something? But obviously, it's just Brian.
And he usually comes up with a very good point.
Yeah, I appreciate.
I usually say something silly, but okay.
Yeah, you can't. In fairness, you can't really top hair cast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fantasy, we had no bets resolved. We did have a bet resolved this week actually by accident. So we have our Deadpool, right? Which is where we say who's going to go out first, right? Now Brian won that one early in the season with Asia, but we also have an over-under of how many of those are going to be in the final episode bet. Because we're so bad at the Deadpool, very often our Deadpool players make it to the final episode. So I had Tiana, and Nick, you had Sue in the Deadpool. So now that Asia and Tiana have both been voted out, we can resolve the over-under in the final episode bet. Brian and I both said there would be over 1.5 players from our Deadpool in the final episode. But now there's only one player left, so the over cannot be hit. So Brian and I have both lost the over-under bet. Nick, you have won the under because there's only one player left, so it's not going to be more than 1.5 players in that final episode from our Deadpool. So that is a bet result for you. We had 2 bets where we had Rachel. The $1 million Deadpool, I had Rachel. I feel like seeing her play so far. Oh no, she is still in the game. She is not. Oh, I fucked that up real bad.
What'd you do?
I had marked Rachel as having been voted out. I did that before I watched Tribal. I had marked it out already. This is what I get for trying to edit the doc while I am watching the episode.
That's why I have commercials. Not only do I save a little bit of money, but it gives me natural stopping points where I can write up my notes.
There you go. So the Tiana is not in any other part of the bets, but she is in our scoring. Speaking of scoring, if you want to check out how we score our fantasy game, you go to OOO4707. On the left, there's a link that says fantasy. You click on that, and it has all of our scoring in there. Nick, you came in the weekend last with 37 points. You have Gabe, Genevieve, and Caroline. Gabe got you 2 points because he survived Tribal, and he survived a vote getting thrown his way. In post-merge, you want the player who gets votes coming their way, but don't get voted out because it's kind of like playing with fire, and in this game, fire represents your life. So you get extra votes for that, so that's 2 for Gabe. You got 3 for Genevieve because I'm counting her as an individual immunity winner because she was one of the 3 players left when the challenge ended. So I'm giving you 2 points for her, 1 for Caroline, and 3 for winning that Deadpool bet. So that is 9 onto your 37, giving you 46. You have hopped straight back into this race. I came into the weekend second place with 41 points. I had Kyle, Saul, and Sam. Sam got me 1 because all I do is live. Saul got me 3 because he survived Tribal and found that advantage. And I got 3 from Kyle because he survived Tribal and won that individual immunity. So that is 7 onto my 41, giving me 48. Brian, you came into the weekend first with 43, and you have Sue, Tiana, and Teeny. Tiana being eliminated gets you 0 points. Sue gets you 1 because all she did was live. And Teeny gets you 3 because she kind of won an immunity. So that is 4 onto your 43, giving you 47. So I have surged into first place with 48 points. Brian, you have 47. And Nick, you have 46. We are a total of 2 points separated between first and last. This is one of the closest seasons we've ever had to Fantasy Survivor. And it's fucking great. Brian, you need to replace Tiana. On the bench is Andy, Sierra, and Rachel. Who do you like?
I like the way the individual immunity win didn't matter at all because we all got 2 points.
It, yeah. Yep.
I guess it hasn't worked so far, but let's, go back to the hot girls, I guess. I'll get Sierra.
All right, there we go. Sierra Dunskoy.
I think that if I was... Well, wait. Who is on my team? I got Caroline. I feel fine. Okay, yeah, I feel fine with the 3 people that I have. Ooh, actually, maybe Gabe. Nah, it's fine. If I was going to get somebody, I think I would take Rachel, actually. I think that, I don't know. I just think she's going to survive a little bit longer. But we'll wait and see.
I mean, Rachel does...
Almost getting voted out this time had nothing to do with anything she did. It was just shit luck.
Yeah. That was... I mean, come on. She got put on a team with 5 members of the same tribe. She was definitely the odd woman out.
Yeah, epically bad luck. And for what it's worth, Rachel also does have the make Jeff laugh part of the Christian hat trick, which is the hardest one to get.
Yeah.
Is that the hardest one to get? Because the Win a Feast one, you can only possibly do like once per season.
That's true. Nowadays, Win a Feast is really tough. It's really difficult.
There used to be a lot more than that, but hey, whatever. Hey, look, if the Christian hat trick was easy to do, there would be one every season, but there isn't. So there you go. Okay. Well, we will see who gets voted out next week, unless anybody has anything else they want to say or add. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
So I listened to Takadu, where you called me out for not even trying to see how much they wanted for our domain.
Yeah, well, you should have.
I don't speak Chinese. The whole thing was in Chinese.
Whatever. That's what Google translates for.
Plus, you're the one who never even wants to mention that this show exists. I'm not shelling out more than $10 to get that domain back.
That's why I was saying, whatever they offer, you say, all right, $10.
All right. I'll get that done.
Find out. I want to know what they think it's worth, because I'm sure they have not had any interest in it yet. So I'm just curious. Obviously, don't give them a goddamn dime. But I'm just curious. What if if they say it's worth $1,000? Doesn't it feel kind of cool to be like, hey, we made a thing worth $1,000?
No.
All right. I'll look. There's
Yeah.
no way $1,000.
No, obviously, no. You're not gonna. None of us are gonna pay $1,000. We already have a website. It doesn't matter. But it's just you want your ego to work. Anyway, okay. Well, we will get back to you guys, and we will tell you next week what the value of our fallen website is, and that in the meantime, we'll be keeping you in suspense about that. So we'll see you next week. Goodbye. Okay. Oh wow. Yeah. Wow. We did a shorty, but that's fine. That's all good. All
yeah,
right.
it was a pretty straightforward episode, even if it was fun to watch.
Yeah. Like that's one of the saddest things. Is like, wow, this is so great. What is there to say about it? Not much. Wasn't it cool? Yeah. All right. It's when it's bad that it's like, ooh, let's go. Let's talk a lot about
How fucking terrible it was. Goddamn Bonnie.
Yeah, Banu. Let's talk forever about Banu. Ugh, yeah. Or Janikowski. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm gonna go to bed. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.